Hello, and this is episode 26 of Pokemon Horizons. Last week's episode, after I rewatched it, I was like, okay, it's not a 4 out of 9, it's probably closer to like a 5 out of 9. Something I missed, and a mistake that I made. Something that I missed first, is that I completely missed when Diana said that the explorers were Lucius's like old friends. To me, like, oh, alright. So I wonder if Gibeon, because we haven't seen how Master Gibeon works, and I do know that in the game, Pokemon Violet, when you go into Area 0, you fight an AI. So is Gibeon an AI of someone who used to be Lucius's friend? Maybe Gibeon is a Meteos. A Meteos comes from Gibeon's heritage. Gibeon is Meteos' ancestor, and that's why Terapagos acted the way it did. At the moment, that's in my mind. And then one thing that I missed and made a mistake in is that what's called Crossroad Slash is not Fury Cutter, it is Night Slash. So I made a mistake there, being like, why didn't you just use Fury Cutter? It's super effective. And Meteos' Ceruledge only has Ghost types, Psychic, and Dark type moves. It doesn't even have a Fire type move. No, wait. Bitter Blade. In my mind, I'm like, is Bitter Blade a Fire type move or is it a Ghost type move? If it is a Ghost type move, then he doesn't have a Fire type move. So it probably is Fire type. I mean, let's see. Bitter Blade Pokemon. It's a Fire type move. Alright. Alright, so he does have a Fire type move. You know what? Replace Night Slash with like X-Scissor maybe. Oh no, wait, before I do comments. What I want to see from this episode, well, not necessarily just from this episode, because I mean this episode I'm expecting it to be, because I think I remember seeing like the first 10 seconds of the preview, and it's gonna be them taking it easy on the ship, which I like. Maybe we'll get some story with Diana, see how Terapagos is. Yeah, I'm just expecting a comfy episode. But about episode 25, I think episode 25... Well, you know what? I'll read the comments and then I'll talk about that, because I think one of the comments actually helped me think about what I want to say. The first comment is by making you mad 9498. I'd rate the episode 9 out of 10 because I wish Garganical did more, and it's weird that it fainted from the explosion. So would it have been a 10 out of 10 if Garganical did more? And I do think you are correct that it fainted, like it actually fainted from the explosion. Because I assumed that it was Pikachu. When Pikachu just Volt Tackle and just like it was just one shot Garganical. But no, it just did like 99% of Garganical's HP, and then the explosion just finished it off. But still, I think that battle was horrific. It made those two admins made like, oh, so they're not actually a threat, because Captain Pikachu 2 versus 1 them. I would have been fine with Captain Pikachu winning if it would have been like Captain Pikachu and Metagross battled them and then they won. That would have been cool, right? It would have still been a 2 versus 2. They could have still shown that the Garganical and the Glalie and their trainers are like strong and formidable foes. But now they lost 2 versus 1 versus Captain Pikachu. You're like, oh, okay. Captain Pikachu is really strong, but it does make it seem like, oh, this is the first time we see these guys. They were supposed to be like the hidden trump card, the special weapon, and they got destroyed. And that's with the fact that we've seen a Meteos do pretty well versus Captain Pikachu, right? He hasn't won, but they were like that. I would say Captain Pikachu a bit better than his Ceruledge, but, they were close. And then Ceruledge just got demolished by Charizard. when Freed decided, you know what? I'm taking off the kid gloves with you, Amethyos, you piece of shit. The second comment is by Duplin98, just Duplin, a skull and crossbones. This episode was a waste of a good animation budget. If only Amethyo had beaten terrestrialized Charizard with Fury Cutter like you said, it would have humbled Freed and given him a reason to train Charizard more. Because I do see him as weaker than Pikachu. I agree. Now I was wrong with the Fury Cutter, but it doesn't matter. You could have knocked it out with like Night Slash or Bitter Blade or Phantom Force. Like you have 3 other moves that can hit. Like Dark Charizard. Yeah, sure. Well, actually, Bitter Blade is now neutral. Like the Fight type move is now neutral to Charizard. But okay, no super effective moves, which he didn't have to begin with, but details. I agree, and it also would have helped a lot with Freed, because like Freed said when he battled Galarian Moltres, he likes going up against stronger opponents, and like it motivates him. Now, I can see that episode 25 can get better with time if we like after this, like this episode, like what I want from this episode is that we see, you know, the Volt Tacklers on the airship, like relaxing, being happy with their victory, and just like thinking of like, okay, what do we do now? Now when we have Diana, we know what all of the heroes, like Lucius heroes are. What do we do now? Then maybe we get a few like scenes of Amethyos training with his grunts. I think that would make the episode, in my mind, episode 25, like good. If we now see like Amethyos and his grunts being like, alright, I lost against Freed, I need to train. And you guys lost against Liko and Roy, so you need to train. Like, I don't need to see a full training episode, but if we just get a scene of them explaining that, alright, they have like surpassed us now. Now we need to train. Don't need an episode focusing on that. Just a scene or two, so that when they come back, now we can be like, oh, they have actually trained, and now maybe they are above our heroes, and that is kind of like a weapons race of like getting better and better. If that happens, I will like say that maybe episode 25 is a 6 out of 9, but at the moment it's staying at a 5. And then the plea also said, right now terrestrialization is treated as the ultimate trump card when it actually isn't. It's just supposed to mix battles up. Also, if Amethyos had gotten the first win, it would have made the other losses look less pathetic. The well-animated Seaman Demon made the whole episode 10 out of 9 though. Alright. Good-looking Seaman Demon, I agree. But to me, that maybe it just gives it like a 1 point. That is actually what made it a 5 out of 9 instead of a 4. Yeah, and I also think that would have made it the other losses a bit less pathetic, because it would have been like, the Explorers got 1 win and the Volt Tacklers got 2. But, you know, the Explorers got like the main victory in that. But we'll see. If this starts off Amethyos' training arc with his grunts, I think that loss was actually great. If that happens. We're 11 minutes in. Let's start the episode. Hello, Liko. And then it's like the grandmother's gonna be like, oh, okay. Oh man, when you look back at this and you thought that, maybe Zerk and Konya would have been a little bit of a threat, you know? Because it's not like they're bad Pokemon. A Rhyhorn and the Skarmory and the Golduck and the Skarmory. But, as we've seen, the Golduck is probably the weakest of all their Pokemon. Because in Zerg's defense, his Rhydon didn't actually get knocked out. Hello, Dot. I want to see Dot with her hair up more. I really like that look on Dot. So we are getting a bit of like a not flashback, just well, we're going through her diary of all the points up to now. This is episode 26. So is this like the last episode of like chapter 1? Because I think I read that this show is doing this in chapters. So like this is chapter 1 of season 1. I think I read that somewhere that they're doing like 2 chapters each. Oh. Alright, no, maybe it's the first episode of chapter 2 then. Alright. We're having a new outro. Not outro, a new intro. The Gleam of Terrapagos. Oh, alright. What the fuck? It looks great! Oh. I don't like this boy voice. I mean, I like the animation. Oh god. Alright, well, I would say I would like this intro. I think the girl does a very good job. But the boy voice is horrific. I don't mind as much in this, like, this part right here. When they both sing together. Oh! Oh shit! Are we gonna get what I wanted? Actually training. Yeah, because one good thing about the Meteor is that he is a bit... you know, insecure, right? He has his insecurities. Alright. Oh. That girl's gonna have a Medicham. The last admin we haven't seen. So she has a Medicham. That's pretty cool. Alright, Terrapagos' adventure. Alright, well that intro made me very hype, actually. So... I feel like, what is this? I'm used to real food. Not this, like, Pokemon food. We didn't have that back in the day. Like, I like that. And I mean, Roy burns through those calories very quick. Very quick. And like, yeah, you're more special than we think. Well, at least you can be kind of like safe that it's still on the ship, at least. So... I like Terrapagos' voice. Oh, Jesus Christ. Terrapagos is way smaller than I thought. Because I know that that is a palm... Wait, it's the second stage evolution, right? Of Palmy, Palmot, Palmo? I'm still worried. Because we don't know. Okay, yeah, sure, it's on the ship, but you can still get in. Oh yeah, and it's a turtle. All right, so you cannot. Okay, so it's kind of like a turtle in the sense that if he gets on its back, it's fucked. Probably doesn't even know what that is. Oh, it's just like, oh god, come on. What about my time? Alright, that's cute. I like it. Detective Pikachu's like, don't do that. Alright. It doesn't flinch. Is that like maybe a reference to what its ability is? That it has like inner focus? Is that inner focus that prevents you from getting flinched? Well, I mean, it's probably all new to it, so... Yeah, and with what Liko is doing now, it would be pretty cool if, as the series goes on, maybe Liko decides, you know what, I also want to become a Pokemon professor. So it's kind of like our main hero. Their Pokemon journey is trying to become like a Pokemon professor. That would be pretty cool. Like, cut. Terapagos, we cannot show you on the live stream. And I mean, I don't think she actually live streams. She's more like well, I guess she does both. But right there, yeah, she was just filming, which is lucky. Because, I mean, you don't want the world to know that you have Terapagos with Nidothing. People will go like, wait, what's that Pokemon? And the explorers will be like, oh, find Nidothing, expose them. Yes. He's like, no. Alright, Spaghetti's. Okay, come on, Spaghettito. What is a Nimbrim? Alright, Hatina. Or Hatena. I guess Terapagos is going to Diane. No, it's not. Got Terapagos. You idiot! If you fall in the water, can you even swim? I mean, sure, you're not actually based off a turtle, you're based off a tortoise. So if you fall in the water, you're dead. Most likely. Alright. Well, we saw her actually use her Master Ball. Monster Ball, put them back in. Maybe it's calling for... Is Sprigatito gonna come in the last second and save it? The fact they're showing Sprigatito here might tell me that that's what they're gonna do. Yeah, sure, Sprigatito is a little bit like, come on, I liked our time together. You're not spending time with me anymore. But I think... yeah, Sprigatito knows. She's like, what are you doing, stupid girl? You know I was sleeping in there? At least scream, like before you go there. Alright, good job, Diana. And Arcanine, and Sprigatito. He's like, man, I now have to deal with 2 stupid people. You know, not just Liko, but also Terapagos. I mean, I like how sassy Sprigatito is. I love how Sprigatito walks as well. A true cat. Yeah, and she's like, I had it for who knows how many decades. Like, I walked so you could run. You're like, I have no idea. It looks a bit different. I mean, I'm guessing that is how Terapagos looks when you terrestrialize it. Alright. But this is just a theory, Liko. Alright? It doesn't necessarily mean it's the truth. Yes, it does. I mean, probably. I mean, I hope he's actually dead. And it's not like he's stuck in the Rakua place or something. I hope it ends up being that it's been such a long time that he just isn't around anymore. And his Pokemon are gonna have to deal with that. I think that would be like maybe an inverse of what you would normally think of, like a trainer losing a Pokemon and having to deal with that. You know, and like, you know what, you as a human losing your pet. What about if your pet loses you, you know? The other way around. Have they ever... well, I guess they have done something like that in the show. They did that... was it in Johto? With the Ninetales? And like in Orange Islands, I think, with like ghost Pokemon. his belt. How is Liko gonna wear it? Is she gonna wear it like she does her fanny pack? Or okay, no, she's wearing it like an actual belt. Like, oh, you look like Lucius. She's like, yeah, I've, not been thinking too much about Sprigatito's feelings. Oh, that's cute. Come on, Sprigatito. Let her head pat you. Is he gonna put his hands on? Yes, perfect, great. Oh, I love that. Oh, come on, Diana. I kind of wish this would have been more just Sprigatito, Liko, but I think this is good. Diana's basically being like, no, you need to, be together. And I wonder if, because when you think about Lucius and his 6 heroes, I wonder if it is kind of like, because this series has been a lot about traveling with Pokemon that no one owns, like traveling with wild Pokemon. So I wonder if it's gonna turn out that Terabagos was never actually caught by Lucius. It's just a wild Pokemon that traveled with Lucius that are like very good friends with him. But they never did like the official, catching thing. That's what I'm guessing, and that's probably why they put so much into this series that, like people just travel and hang out with like wild Pokemon, without catching them or whatever. They're like, of course. You don't even have to ask. Pika! Or like that, even better. I mean, yes. But so was Galarian Fire and Rayquaza. Oh! Alright. They actually mentioned Hisui. I always thought that Hisui was like just old Sinnoh. That Hisui and Sinnoh are the same thing. But I wonder. Oh, we're still going back to Galar. I was hoping we're gonna spend more I was hoping we're gonna go to Paldea. I mean, yeah, sure, they're trying to make up for Journeys, because Journeys didn't spend any time in Galar. But, I mean, I don't want them to do that and then make the same mistake where they don't spend any time in Paldea. Okay, here we go. Here we go. I mean, you all need to train. Alright, he's a bit conflicted. Alright, that's good, that's good. I'm really looking forward to episode 27. This was a great episode. I love this episode. Jesus, 6 feet. So it's actually taller than Charizard. Because I think Charizard like 5'7" or something. Or at least the Charizard they put in the Pokédex. One thing about Let's Go Pikachu I think that's really cool is the fact that Pokemon have different sizes, right? But I will say the 2 intros we've had were pretty good. The second one, I would have preferred it more if it wasn't for the male voice. I mean, the thing that I look forward to the most with the English dub is actually intro and outro, so we'll see. I'll probably react to those. The intro and outro, that is. I'm really looking forward to next week's episode. Not only because of what we just saw in this episode, but here what I saw at the preview where they're gonna be traveling like Dot, Liko and Roy. Gonna be traveling together. Probably in some forest maybe. If we go to this map here that Dot showed of like the sightings of the Black Rayquaza of Galar, my guess is they're gonna start right here, maybe right here. They're starting here, nothing, and then they're probably traveling here. So maybe it's gonna be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 episodes right here, like a 7-episode arc. I think maybe that's what they're setting up here. But maybe like 2 filler, we'll see. And I assume the Lapras and the Cleavor picture they're showing, and maybe even Entei, are just generic pictures of those Pokemon and aren't necessarily the hero Pokemon, right? I think that is it. Because they're showing a Lapras here, a Lapras with a flock, and you're kind of like, these Lapras doesn't look any special, you know? Yeah, I mean, I will say this episode was a lot better than episode 25. I had a lot of fun with this. I liked the interaction with Diana. I loved Sprigatito in this episode. Sprigatito, yeah, sure, it was a feeling a little bit left out, but it was still keeping an eye on Liko, making sure that she's safe. And then there at the end, Sprigatito was like, oh god, now I'm gonna have to take care of Liko. And like I have 2 troublemakers now. They're gonna double the work I have to do to keep them safe. I like the little bonding they did there at the end. I like Sprigatito's spunk. And just, I guess, like a certain level of like sassiness, I guess. I don't know if that's the correct word. But Sprigatito's personality is great. I feel like they're setting up with Liko, especially in this episode, that maybe in like in the future, she might decide, you know what? I want to become a Pokemon professor. That would be cool, very cool. Like a goal I want. Instead of just knowing Pokemon's feelings, you know what? That turns into like becoming a professor. And you know, with Freed, who is the Pokemon professor, you know, all Pokemon professors doesn't have to be the same, right? Yeah, I don't know. Great episode. At the moment, I would say like a 7 out of 9 episode in my eyes. And it made me... Yeah, sure. I mean, and also the last scene with Amethyos made me go like, oh man, that's great. So I assume Amethyos is going like, he's feeling a bit like, man, Freed actually demolished us. And I think he truly believes what Fried said. And Fried said, you know what? Sorry, kiddo, but I had to take off my gloves, my kitty gloves, because all the battles we had together, I was just playing with you. I don't think that is true, but I like that Fried said that, because Fried basically knew that Meteos isn't that secure. He's pretty insecure. So you trash talk, get into his head, and Fried succeeded. Now, will it backfire on Fried because of the fact that Ametheus cannot actually train? I think so. And I hope his lackeys train with him. And I think they will, because like they said, they're gonna follow his lead. So if he trains to get better, so will they.